Is it a coincidence that the WWF, which looks after wrestling animals, used to go, let's get ready to rumble? Because I don't have a Rumble account that I use anymore. At least I have a Rumble account, but I tried to upload a 4-5 minute video onto it, and with unlimited data from 3Mobile, and it was taking hours. Eventually, I accidentally closed the page down by like flicking over it something like, oh, you've lost all your thing now. But I deleted the Prince Andrew sketch because, you know, I don't want it to be misinterpreted as like Trump savior. You know, it's like it's a comedy, I suppose, so it could have been contextually. You know, I'm going to eat one moment, but I'm kind of still shaking from sitting on my sacrum, and I seem to have hips that display ya. So basically, I was just thinking about some of the TV sets that I've seen in treatment, uh, and how they were treated was even particularly bad. I use the word bad, I think, correctly. Even by psychiatric inpatient treatment standards, the TV set's treatment was pretty bad. Obviously behind closed doors, crikey. And where is the undercover investigation into psychiatric treatment anyway? Because the only psychiatric documentaries that I've ever seen were like, welcome to our space, you know, and like, you know, all kind of legit above board. No one was mic'd up underneath their uniform. Do they still wear uniforms in there? For a long time, because I didn't get sectioned for such a long time, I thought that there was no cameras in units, and there were now. There were. I didn't even believe that they were in the bedroom. It was only, I think, last year I saw a report saying, no, they did have there was like a mirror. You know, imagine the corner up here, just a little round mirror in the corner above the bed. So after about 6 months, I'm like, fuck, I'm so bored. I can't even be bothered to do this. Put my hands down my trousers, immediately run to the door, knock, 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 knock. It's like, you know, just randomly knock someone's door after 10 p.m. You know, lights out, but it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. So I left it a few minutes because obviously I'm not paranoid. There's no camera up there. Have another little go, come running. So you come from the office, you got screens, isn't it? Screens. Sheesh. And then it was like a year later, I was reading in the news. They were like, we don't think this is appropriate that you've got cameras in their bedrooms. They might be naked in there. I was like, yeah, that was generally where I took my clothes off. I have a reputation for having taken my clothes off all over the place, but I'll tell you one thing. I went to Bath one time, which is a city in the southwest, and I ended up having sex with a man. Sheesh, I don't know how that happens, but and then I was just flipped. I was like, meh, 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 meh. You know, because I signed some sort of thing to be like, now I'm really religious. I will only have sex outside of marriage. I didn't sign nothing. I'm just saying, like, I signed up for a, you know, religious programming. And so if I made mistakes, you know, kind of it affected me badly. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, got on a train to London, parted ways with that man, Dem. I think it was an argument over a sofa. There was like a sofa left on the street. And I was like, look at that, the theatre. And he was like, fuck you, woman, or something. Damn you, I think it was. You know, because some gay people, they get really stressed when they're not allowed to be themselves. And, you know, so... and then I had a bag and everything on me, you know, that carry stuff in. And I was wandering around. I didn't even know where I was. And I wound up like putting my handbag into some kind of pond fountain type thing. And then I don't so then I had no keys, I had no money, I had no wallet, I had no bank card, I had no ID. Just the clothes on my back. And I wound up, I'm trying to think how I got there. Oh, that's it, I'm pain. No, let it all out. I just know that I wound up in a psych unit not far from there. And after waiting for ages there, I was interviewed by 3 people. Obviously I wasn't a person, I was a patient or I don't know. And they were like, no, we are not admitting you. You have a behavioural disorder. And they put me out of the hospital with no keys and no bank card and no cash and no ID, just the clothes on my back. So I sat out there for like 2 hours. This is around the Occupy movement time. So, and then there was like a unit to that side. These are kind of tucked away, these places, you know, even in the middle of London, they're like, shh, over there, you know, there are no victims, you know, only the special people are victims. And then there was these like guys, and they were like behind some kind of like thing. We're locked in there. We must be good. And they were like, rah, rah, rah. And I was like, shit. I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? So after a couple, met someone from reception around, brought me a blanket. Imagine like getting given an NHS blanket. It's like, we're not here to help you until you behave properly. Like, really? I was like, no way. So I was like, yeah, occupy psychiatry, all that jazz. Fucked off. It got dark. I was like, well, I'm screwed, man. Like, no, but this is London. This is London pre-COVID. So nobody would help anybody. So at that point, when it started cracking on for like 8, 9 p.m., I was like, I know how to get attention. I will remove clothing. So I took off my top and immediately, like someone phones police, like, naked bitch, you know? So then I got taken by the police officers back to the unit. And I must say that after dark, that unit was a little different. I don't know, it had a sexy feeling to it. Like everybody was maybe getting affected by wireless, and I'm not sure if anyone's able to harvest that or quite what goes on there. But that then I was like, this unit is bad. Like I thought it was wrong earlier. Now I'm like, this is the fucking worst place I've ever been in my life. So obviously, because police then brought me in and flesh was involved for sure. And then I got kept in there, and luckily the next day I was taken back to my place at the QE2, the Welling wards, because we had the units there. There's a mother and baby unit that used to be there, and then there used to be an old people's unit, and then there was is it MIMS for men, and then Welling ward for women. So yes. And there weren't so many TV sets around those days. I didn't see any I think it was like the year and a half I spent out of 2 years going in and out of that unit. That was when my dad was still alive. So who was pulling the strings on Pinocchio? That's right, he ended up dying in like a unit next door, which was for people that had strokes. So that was all very appropriate. And that's 2011 we're talking here. And yeah, no TV sets oddly until Coral Moon was admitted from because she wanted to die so badly, or was it that she wanted to live so badly that she was on top of the Galleria about to fly off, and she got brought in. First admission, she was 18 on her first admission. We didn't couple up for another couple of years, luckily. Otherwise, you know, my reputation would still be getting trashed now. But I think the age of consent for sex is 18, isn't it? But no, she was 20 when she became my bird. So, but it's unfortunate that her mental health treatment involved being told, this is the professional side of things, that her life was a train wreck, which is a pity. They could have acknowledged that she'd been abused by her neighbour, or I think it was her neighbour's son, who was a bit older than her. Special treatment anyway. So, yeah. So I was going to eat something. I just wanted to know about the hormonal treatment for TV sets is basically like, so if I'm male, I'm born male, right, and then I want to be female because I'm truly female, even though my soul is genderless, unfortunately. I don't know what will happen when it leaves my body. It will just be like an angel of some kinds, but no, I mean, because TV is like, I don't know, I would just call it like the original theatre, like the original fucking like ha ha ha, you know, because it wasn't allowed to be female on stage back in Shakespeare's day. You had to basically blackface into a female form. Now, I'm going to suppose that probably the directors preferred men. But, you know, this is where the vagabond laws come from anyway. You know, no travelling around with no fixed abode. And those vagabond laws in the UK are still running along today. That's you're not allowed to be homeless, sorry. When I had no place to stay permanently, At least I didn't beg, because usually those guys just go and shoot up with that money. I have to be honest, but people gave me money anyway, so that was lucky. The point of this is, if you're born male and you want to be female, so I'm gonna stop all your testosterone, even though a female has testosterone like all the time, and then we're talking like on a usually like 28, 30-day cycle here, not just a 24-hour thing, and in that cycle, like there's a permanent level of testosterone, it's quite low, and then there's about 24 hours where there's loads of tea. I get my tea these days from pine pollen. So which you could also, because it's somehow it's still legal. I think they just would have the quack corruption would have just been so obvious if you just outlawed herbal medication. I think the truth is it don't belong to no one, does it? Those look, where did that leaf come from? It's mine. I designed it. Pay me my patent. Yeah. I'm just saying, so you're going to get rid of all your testosterone and then bash in a load of estrogen, yeah? Now let's have a look together at the female menstrual cycle. No, you'll have to do it yourself, but make sure you compare lots of charts online. I think there's a movement of the estrogen. I think there's a movement of the progesterone. And also, why is there so many versions of the pill? Okay, split that cake in all different directions. So many versions of the pill. Are they really all different? Well, no. Yeah, in fact, yes, because it's a synthetic estrogen. It's a synthetic progesterone. That means that the hormonal connecting bit, right? It has to be a very exact shape to fit there, and it's not quite the right shape. It just about goes in. And for me, even with endometriosis, it's just better for me to have endometriosis. Thank God I don't bleed anymore, because I had a womb ablation in 2019. Not like it says in my notes, I had a womb ablation in 2012. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to have a baby in 2014. But eventually, I stopped bleeding. But I still have a hormonal cycle anyway, so it's current. I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, have a look at the charts. I think there's a bit of movement there. And those are hormones, perfectly made to fit in. But even me with endometriosis, I'd rather not take the pill, or the Marina coil was a nightmare as well. It helped my pain a lot, but yeah, sheesh. Because if I take the pill, and let's talk about the combined, isn't it the combined? I'm not sure which is which, but then my body's just like, I'm pregnant now, yeah. All right. This is all because natural medicine has been suppressed. In fact, there is a link on my page. I should put it in here somewhere. So I've only read the first 43 pages of this, talking about how we used to just have homeopaths and herbalists, and then they got called quacks. Yeah. And then brought in new shit and fake, I think. I don't know. Anyway, look, I'm not even going to eat on this right now, am I? I'm just trying to. I should eat something. Let's eat something. Pumped instead, I'm saying if you got to be in your 50s, that's your 50s self age, not the 1950s, and be like, yeah, I was one of the people that started the Pride events in Brighton back in the day. Clearly, like, imagine trying to tell that to a quack. I started this. I don't know. Just there's a. That book that I was saying about, the link for it, it's called Murder by Injection. Yeah, the pill, man. The pill was tested on female prisoners and inpatients, so like they never complained about it. It's just so easy if you sponsor your own research to be like, leave that bit out. Those complaints are not relevant. They've come from prisoners, so. I would be fucked over, like, if I was really encouraged to change my gender or whatnot, which I could easily do with clothes and whatnot and makeup. Like, fuck me. Sheesh, all I needed to do was shave my head, wear a push-up bra, have yesterday's mascara on, and use lipstick, wearing a man's tracksuit, and clearly I'm a TV set too. So, I'm just saying, like, I'd be pissed off if I was really encouraged to change my sex, gender, whatever it is, and then find out that the treatment program was experimental at this stage. Could they not at least explain that these aren't real hormones? These are synthetic versions. They are fake. And we're just going to bosh you up with them on a permanent level. And then you carry on pretending. So I'm pretending to be man. You're pretending to be a doctor. We're both pretending that these drugs are legit. And then coming to treatment when you've had enough of it and you've got no one to complain to, and we'll sort you out. You know, sharing is caring. It's just, we have to talk about what's going on in these hospitals. And if I was to come out mashed up on loads of anti-dopamine, that's your reward chemical there. So hormone. You just fuck that out of me, right? I wouldn't be able to have much to say about what I've seen in there. Anyway, so, but at least, you know, what I will say about it is at least with these types of psychopaths, because, you know, there's like 400 mental illnesses. The worst one is psychopath. I wonder who wrote the book, the DSM, yeah? Who wrote all them mental, the psychopath, psycho, the rapist. Look, I'm just trying to say, you can help me to think things through, okay? Good, thanks very much. That's called psychology. Or you can be a psychiatrist, which is a quackery, okay? And I've done loads of experiments on animals. Even rabbits have got used in those chemical experiments. You know, we're banning it for makeup, but, you know, for cosmetics, but it's okay in medicine, you know, because rabbits and humans are very similar. But the thing about it is, I'm just trying to say, like, what goes on in there? Can't really talk about it. Can't really talk about it because the effects of the drugs that they force us to take don't give us any informed consent. Now I'm informed, but I still, even withdrawing consent is just seen as my madness, okay? The drugs, yeah, the drugs, wow. And then we come out and use drugs and they're like, bad behavior. I'm not just saying there's a difference between psychiatry and psychology. And I'm trying to say that it's still not okay to be gay, and that, but at least with these psychopaths, okay, it, like, you think psychiatry is overcoming religion, yeah? A lot of this has to do with the monarchy. The monarchy have got zero power. I wonder why. And then we're supposed to hate them, aren't we? Fuck you, Prince Andrew. Only joking. You know, imagine if he was forced to watch. I'm just saying, like, yeah, hate the monarchy. Yeah, they're the bad ones, but they've got no political power, hardly any, like hanging on by a thread. And there's probably a clause in that as well to say, no, you represent religion. So psychiatry and politics must overcome the religious oppression of the past. Partly agreed. And then what we must do is, no, it's still not okay to be gay in treatment. The best, that is, you know. Look at my handicap, right? But, you know, because if you're in a horse race and you want everyone to finish in a straight line, some of them got to carry more weight. That's what I'm going to say. You know, it's a fantasy. You know, it's difficult to be alone. But, you know, this is not the point of this. The point of this is I'm just trying to say, like, yeah, they still hate you. But at least the doctors get the nice people to do the injections. Well, mustache, okay. Oh, and mustache, okay. Bye for now. Oh, by the way, my brother is getting involved, my eldest brother. I think we might have had sex when we were kids. He would remember that more than me because he's 7 years older than me. He was still a child, but I think, does he remember having sex with me because he's now getting involved? Because since I went to see the private doctor, he's my next of kin. Isn't that adorable? He took over after dad. And as next of kin, right, inappropriate. Thinks the solution to everything is incarceration and forced drugging. And like I was saying, if it's too much adrenaline from pain, cracking on the dopamine will not help. And if I don't wear makeup when I go out, previously people thought I was like, oh look, she's fucking, no, I'm ill, bruv. I'm not crack addict, I'm ill. Last time I smoked crack was January 2010. Also, the last time I put any cocaine up my nose was 2010. I went to rehab in 2007, December. I came out. My family told me, you're not an alcoholic. Okay, so I'm not sure that he's really best positioned to be my advocate for me. It must be quite disturbing having sex with your sister, allegedly, when you were younger. Well, don't think that makes him capable to be my next of kin right now. And I'm just saying that, is it coincidence that I saw a private doctor in Hertford on Wednesday, and then are we today, Friday, I get a text like, "You right, sis? Look at my about page." I mean, he's even got the arthritic thing in his shoulders visibly. It's genetic. Oh, I wonder why such poor genetics in this such a rich family. Because I lent him £70,000 from my trust fund, unbeknownst to me, but signed it off as a forgiven debt a few years ago, 2022, I think that was. I didn't know. Borrowed 70,000. I fucking party to my trust fund. Come from my granddad, and then my mum paid into it. My dad, just about gave up a bit for it. But he got to sign all the checks. Every month, right, Dad, have some money. Need to buy books, like £5 a month, paying my rent. Listen, bro, when you don't have to work and you're still getting paid, and you've had haloperidol at 17. What the fuck takes a long time. I'm not, because there's a difference between not remembering and knowing at the same time. No, but I don't remember. But it's not that I don't remember, because I know, but I haven't forgotten. It's actually slightly painful, like takes a while to process it. And Glenn is in prison, and do we not think she should, be she needs a pat on the back, I think, just with a sharp point there or something, to out of its misery. Or was it really acting alone? From Robert, was it Maxwell, and then into Jeffrey's quarters? I mean, I'm not allowing for what she's done, clearly, because I said she needs a pat on the back with a sharp point. But if she did indicate that Trump was involved, then no, she really wouldn't be able to bring that book out either. Okay, that's everything from me. Eat alone. No, I don't mean that being like grunchy. Yeah, I will eat alone. Okay. By the way, everything I say must be taken very seriously. Yeah, isn't that the rules now? Cross your T, dot your I. Okay, well done, everybody. Push on. All right. Okay. Bye. Ow. I did get my temperature taken with one of those new temperature things the other day as well. Just point and aim, mind that, so I reckon Epstein actually died a couple of years ago, and I think they might have shot him through the head. And I'm like, no, let's not be shooting people through the third eye. It seems an appropriate, eye for an eye, but go silencer. It's my dream job. 24 hours in a white cell with a convicted child lover. I think that's the preferred term. Peculiar habit. And then just be up on the wall like that, and then there's me in there. I'm looking amazing, and I've got a silencer on my phone, and I just wait to see any remorse in that 24-hour period, if not pop anyway. So, and I think allegedly a lot of them were abused as children. Wow, ask anyone that's factually wrong, even like whether statistically or just word on the street, unless they were still in captivity, maybe. And so anyway, like I'm saying, a dream job. I didn't even have a place to stay. Live there, could get cool. Whatever. I'm just trying to say. But I support the King of England and the Queen. Isn't it? They keep marrying commoners as well. I think they're trying to tell us something. Like, we are the monarchy, But I'm going to pay my council tax. So it's down to £13 a month. So I better crack on. Just give Caesar what is Caesar's. You two Brutus. Anyway, I'm so excited. Okay, yeah. Down with that kind of thing.